Hi everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the drawing that we will be completing in today's video. This dragon that looks like we drew it in ink. So very simple color palette, black and white. We have a good paper texture in the background that we'll add as well to kind of make it look even more realistic. We are also going to animate this drawing in the next video in Procreate Dreams. If the animation's done, I'll post it right here. If not, just stick around and find out what that's going to look like in the next video. Should be posted in the next 2 days. If you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe. I also offer extra tutorials over on Patreon, so that is linked in the description below if you'd like to check that out. And before we get started, there's quite a few things to download today. I have the color palette and then 3 custom brushes that we'll use in today's drawing. So the dotted line brush on the outside, the stippling brush for our texture, and then the star brush for our stars. So all of that is linked in the description below. It's totally free to download. For the color palette, just save the file to your iPad and then double tap it to open it up in Procreate. It'll automatically pop into your color palette so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the video today. And then for the brushes, you just need to go into a canvas, open up your brush library, and then whatever folder you want to save it into, be in that folder. So whether you have like an inking folder or a custom folder or whatever, go ahead and click the plus icon there and then click import and find the files where you downloaded them to import them. So import all 3 of them. And then I will also post the canvas dimensions, a color profile, and layers needed on the screen and in the description below so that you can use those to set up your canvas. So take a minute to get everything ready and then come back and we will get started. Okay, so this is the color palette that we have. Very simple, 2 colors, black and like an almost white. It's a little grayer than pure white to match our background after our paper texture is added. So those are the 2 colors that we'll use today. So the first thing that we're going to do is add our paper texture to the background. So we'll just be on layer 1 here on our layer menu, click the gear icon, click add, and then click insert a file. Find the paper texture where you downloaded it. And it comes in as a rectangle, but let's just zoom out, and on uniform, we'll just increase the size a good amount until it hits the whole canvas. Like so. Then click our arrow tool to deselect it. And this is where we'll start. If you wish to, you can go to your layer menu here, and with this layer, you can click the N to open up our options, and you can lower the opacity a little bit if you want like a little bit of a lighter texture. I might drop mine to like 80%. I think that looks good. But now we'll just keep on going. We're first going to draw our circles, and then we'll draw our dragon inside, and then the last little details. So to draw our circles, let's add a new layer on the layer menu. Let's grab our black color, first one on the top row, and the first circle we will make will be with our dotted line brush that you should have downloaded. So find that one in your brushes library. I have the size set to like 60%, and we're just going to draw a perfect circle around the outside. We want to draw it till it almost touches together at the end, but not overlap. So like I'll just start here and I'll just go around a good ways, and then when I get close to the beginning, I'll stop, hold that down until it turns perfectly smooth, and then touch your finger on the screen to make it a perfect circle. Pretty good size. So then here, so where they come together, I have the tiniest little gap that I could probably just fill 1 dot in to kind of make it look a little bit more complete. So that's why we don't want to overlap it, but you want to get it close. If you overlap it, you'll just get a bunch of dots that overlap. They might look okay, but they do like extend out a little bit in certain areas. So that's why I like to just get it kind of close. Maybe you can get it exactly right, or there will just be a small gap that you might need to fill in. So draw it a few times if you need to, get a good circle, and then with our arrow tool, we can select that circle on uniform if we need to change the size at all. And then most importantly, let's snap it to the center of our canvas. So in the bottom left here, make sure snapping is turned on. And we'll center it where we see both of our yellow lines, like so. Okay, we'll do a similar thing right inside. We'll make another circle with a monoline brush this time. So on our layer menu, let's add a new layer, same black color. Let's just switch to our regular old monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. Let's see, I'll have it set to 20%. And I'll draw another circle right inside this one. Hold it down until it turns perfectly smooth. Touch your finger on the screen to make it a perfect circle. Set a good size that's looks like it'll be a little smaller than our other one. Then again, grab it with our arrow tool. Let's center it first and see how it looks, but if you need to resize it, go ahead and do so up or down, but just a little gap in between them is fine so we get a nice good like 2 rings on the outside. Okay, now we can go straight into drawing our dragon. So on our layer menu, let's add a new layer. We're still going to be on our black color. We are going to switch to our dry ink brush under the inking category. I will have it set to 10%. And we're going to turn on symmetry to start. So we'll do the head and wings with symmetry turned on. Then we'll turn it off to finish the tail. So under our gear icon, under canvas, click to turn on the drawing guide. Click edit drawing guide and set it to symmetry. You should see a vertical line pop up here. If you do not, you might need to click on vertical under the options here and then click done. Then most importantly, we want to make sure that this layer that we're on now says assisted. It should. If it doesn't, just click on it and turn on drawing assist, but that means that symmetry is active on this layer. So we have our black color, our dry ink brush, and we will just start here a little ways from the top of our canvas on our symmetry line, and we'll start and make his head. So I'm just going to start right on the line, again, leaving a little gap there so it's not like taking up the whole circle, so we have room for our little extra details on the edge. But maybe about right here, and I'm just going to start right on the symmetry line and just make a slight curved line like so. Then from the edge, we'll kind of curve back in a little bit or go straight in kind of. Then from here, we'll kind of curve out like this, a good flare. Kind of slight curve back in to make like a little piece of his, like the side of his face there. Then we'll make another kind of longer one. We'll curve the other direction, curve back that same direction till we're a little ways from our symmetry line. And then we can kind of start his neck. So this is his head. So then I'll just kind of go down and then a little ways past the head, I will kind of start curving into the wing. And we're going to fill all this in, so your lines don't have to be perfect because we're going to fill the whole thing in black. So like your outer edge should be perfect, but like if you go into your inner edge like this or something, don't worry about that too much. We'll fill the whole inside in. So again, then we'll kind of curve back up a good ways. And then when we get like maybe a little ways, like maybe halfway towards the edge or something, we'll start curving the other way, kind of back down, to get kind of like the tip of his wing right there. Okay, on the wing, kind of like halfway through this top section, we'll make like his little talons that come off of it. So we'll just kind of make a curved line and another curved line. Okay, from the tip of his wing now, we'll make some curved lines coming off and we'll hold them down each time. So I'll make a curved line kind of this way, hold it down. So it's kind of like vertical almost. My points are like just maybe this next point is like down and to the left a little bit, but almost in a straight line. But a good size there. From here, we'll make another curve, hold it down. Each time you hold it down and it snaps to a perfectly smooth line, you can click this edit arc button at the top to adjust it. So you can move it around, change the angle, change the curve, anything like that. Back to our pen. This time I'll curve pretty like horizontally. Pretty small one there. And then this next one will curve into like the body. So we'll start here, we'll curve coming close to the symmetry line, like so. I'm going to click the edit arc button. I don't want it to flare out right here. So I'll bring this in a little closer. Maybe something more like this. Now we're going to make the tail and we're going to do that on a new layer with symmetry turned off. So on our layer menu, let's add a new layer. No symmetry or anything, but same color, same brush. And now we'll make the tail. So I'll start on like the left side here and I'll just come straight from this line that we just had. I'll maybe kind of curve to the left, curve to the right, curve back down to the left, and then kind of straighten out a little bit. So something like this. And then we'll follow it on the right side. So same thing, we'll just kind of follow those same curves. maybe coming a little closer together at the bottom, so a little thicker at the top. Like so. I'm kind of starting to run out of room, but that's okay. We can move him around in a second. But at the bottom of the tail here, I'm going to make some more kind of pointies. So on the left side here, I'll curve out, curve back in, right side, curve out, curve back in. And then I want to do one more of this, so I'm going to end up going off my circle a little bit. So I'll curve off and then come to a point, curve off, come to a point. Something like that. Got a little too wide that last one. I want it to be a little smaller. Maybe something more like this. Okay, that is looking great. Feel free to make any adjustments that you would like to. For example, my head's like a little wider than I would like. I'm going to grab it with my selection tool. So I'll grab my selection tool, I'll set it to rectangle, or you can do freehand. I'm going to do rectangle for this and just make sure color fill is not turned on or anything. I'm going to select just around the head, kind of cut it off at the neck, grab it with my arrow tool on freeform, and I'm just going to make it a little skinnier, recenter it, and maybe make it a little bit longer so it goes up a little higher. Then I'll go back to my pen tool and just kind of connect these again. Nice and smooth there. Make sure you're on the right layer. So I'm going to adjust some of the tail here, kind of smooth this out a little bit more. Okay, so now we want to fill it in, but they're on two separate layers and they don't connect to each other. So I'm just going to go to my layer menu now that I like the way everything looks. And I'm just going to snap these two layers together like so. So they're all on one layer. Then I can grab it with my arrow tool. On uniform, I might just downsize it a little bit. Or freeform, you could like stretch it out, maybe make it a little wider, kind of whatever you need to do. But I want it to fit in my circle and still have room around it for some other fun details. And then I'll just center it again on my canvas. So both the yellow lines, or maybe a little closer to the bottom, whatever works, but at least on your center vertical yellow line. Okay, now that that is all done, we can go ahead and fill it in. So I'm just going to grab my black color and drag it in to fill it in, then kind of touch up any other. Now we're going to do some touch up, but make sure to go to our layer menu and click on this layer and turn off drawing assist first. Okay, now we can kind of touch up this ghosty line that we have, fill in any other gaps that might have appeared when you filled it. This is just because of like the texture of our brush, so we do have to go through and do this all the way around. Like we can increase our threshold like we've done before, but it just might still not get everything because of that texture. And then fill in the little wing talons also if you need to. If yours weren't like open on the bottom like mine were closed. Okay, all the way down to the tip of the tail. Just kind of smooth things out as you go if you need to. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. I might kind of adjust this part of the tail again. So I'll erase it with my monoline brush. And then I might go back in with my dry ink brush to kind of give it a little bit more texture, but kind of change the shape there a little bit more. Okay, so once all of your adjustments are done, it's all filled in. Now we can just move right along to the rest of the details on our dragon. Okay, so next up we're going to make some lines on its wings. We're going to do that on a new layer. So add a layer to our layer menu, click on it and turn on drawing assist. We're going to grab our white color, the second one on the top row, Same dry ink brush at 10% is good. And we're just going to start kind of maybe like right about where our talon is here on our wing. And we're just going to draw a slight curved line to our like next little point here. So from here, not like touching it, but just like near it. Just going to make a nice kind of curved line there, hold it down. Okay, same thing, we'll go a little ways from that. We'll curve to our next one a little bit, hold it down. They all should turn into arcs. If you ever get a line, just click the line button at the top, and if it gives you the arc option, select it and then adjust it if you need to. If not, just redraw it like a little more curved so you can get that arc. Okay, I'll do one more here, kind of curving this way. Again, so that one gave me a line. If I click the line button at the top, it gives me the arc option, so I'll select that. Okay, so that's just the 3 for our 3 points, like aside from this edge one. So our 1, 2, 3 points. Then inside that, we'll make 2 more curved lines going the other way. So these are just kind of like ridges on its back. Hold that down. Nice little arc. And then maybe one more towards the center. Again, we want an arc. Might move those down a little bit. Something kind of like that. Just to kind of create some more ridges there. Next up, we're going to make what would be like the spikes down the spine. So again, I'll add that on a new layer. So layer menu, new layer. No drawing assist this time. We are just going to go straight down like our symmetry line as best we can with just kind of some like a dashed line. So I'm going to start like towards the top of his head or towards the top of his neck really, and start there and just kind of make a little dash, dash, dash all the way down. Going in between those, and then kind of following his tail, kind of staying in the middle of it, but changing direction to match the direction of it till we get to the end. That looks great. Now we'll add a bunch of stippling. So this is where our stippling brush comes in. So on our layer menu, let's add a layer right above our black dragon layer. Click on it and set it to a clipping mask. Click on it again and turn on drawing assist. Same whitish color, but now we're going to switch to our stippling brush that you should have downloaded. So find that wherever you have that. I'm going to have the size set to 5%. Okay, and we're just going to add quite a bit of texture with this kind of all the way around our dragon. So just kind of mostly around the edges. So I'm just going to start up here by the neck and just going to start drawing through this. Pick my brush up a few times so we want it really heavy on the edges. And then it'll get kind of lighter inside, so then I just kind of tap a little bit or just draw kind of lightly, mainly tapping towards the edge of our stippling to let it be a little bit lighter there, like so, something like that. So then, again, feel free to go over the edge a few more times to get it nice and thick there. Let's go up to here and do the same thing. Just kind of lightly on the like nose and stuff here. Nothing too crazy. We just want some good texture all the way around. Do some tapping inside. Like so. We'll keep on going around. So I'll go around this talon a little bit. Nothing crazy. And then again, the edges of the wings. Don't want to go too far in because we are going to make some like scales. So just to the edges, but again, like extending in a little bit. Okay, so again, we'll get as far down as we can go with symmetry and then we'll just turn it off. So I'll go maybe to this far on my dragon. Okay, then I'll go to my layer menu. Click on this layer, turn off drawing assist, and we'll continue down the tail now. Again, pretty lightly on the ends here, just hitting it a little bit. And then we'll do the left side as well. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Feel free to go back through and, brighten any spots up, add any more that you need to. But I think that looks good. We just want like a light texture around the edges to kind of make it look more hand drawn. So next up, we're going to do a similar thing with our little ridges here that we drew on its wings, but we'll do that on a new layer. So layer menu, new layer, click on it and turn on drawing assist. And same thing, we'll just kind of go right on the underside of the little ridges that we drew here. So again, and then tap a little bit on the edges to kind of loosen it up there. So yeah, I'm just doing the left side of all these right ones until we get to these ones that curve the other way. I'll do like the underside of those, like so. Okay, and the reason we did it on a separate layer is just in case you ended up going like out above the top here, you could grab your eraser tool on the monoline brush and you could like erase any dots that got on the other side of the ridge that we were drawing on. So feel free to do that if you need to. Otherwise, this looks good. And now we will do our scales. So on our layer menu, let's add another new layer. Same white color, same stippling brush at 5%. And to add the scales, we're going to make selections of little ovals and then we'll stipple inside them. So we'll do just kind of like little chunks at a time until we get them all done. Unfortunately, we can't use symmetry with the selection tool. It doesn't select on the other side, but that's okay. Maybe we don't want them to be perfectly symmetrical on both sides for this part. So we'll grab our selection tool, we'll set it to ellipse, make sure color fills turn off and stuff. So this is how it should look. And then I'll just start on the right wing here towards the tip and I will just like make a little oval selection. I'll do like maybe 3 of them. Kind of circles, ovals. It's almost impossible to see them with this black color. There's diagonal lines on the outside of it, but then the inside of what's selected is blank. So you might be able to see them, you might not. But let's grab our brush tool and the selection's still on. So if we just start drawing, you'll kind of see where they pop up. So there's a circle. I'm just going to fill it in with the stippling brush pretty lightly. But yeah, so just draw around until you start hitting that open space. So something like that. Then I'll click my selection tool to turn that off. And that is our first little kind of scaly pattern thing that we're going to do. So we'll just kind of do that all over. So selection tool again. Same thing, I'll select a few kind of ovals or circles, grab my pen and fill them in. Selection tool off, turn it back on. So you can do as many at a time as you want. So like there, I'll do some, maybe I'll get like a good few going here. So I think I did like 6. So I did 3 here and then 3 here. Okay, so then if we turn that off, so that's like our right wing, that is how it's looking. So let's go ahead and do the other side now, same thing. So again, maybe it's good that they're not identical to each other. They can be a little different. Okay, so this is what we have now. And now I'll do some down the back and stuff as well. So we'll maybe add a few to like the top of his head here. So just like a couple of small ones. Because yeah, like we're not going to draw eyes or anything, but like maybe he would have a couple of these spots on his head. Okay, then we'll draw some down the spine. So I'll kind of do quite a few here all at once. Just draw around until I hit them all. Okay. Keep on going down. Thought I had a fifth one somewhere. Maybe not. Okay. And as we get further down, they just need to get smaller until we probably just can't make some for a little bit until we get to kind of more like the end of the tail. So I think I'll probably leave those and then I'll come down here and maybe make just a few more little ones. Okay, so that just kind of adds some more detail to our dragon. And then that is it for him. Now we're going to add the last little details in the background. Nothing too crazy. It's just going to be like a starburst and then some little stars with the other brush that you should have downloaded. So that being said, let's go to our layer menu. Let's add a new layer underneath our dragon here. Click on it and turn on Drawing Assist. So Symmetry is active, but we're going to change the symmetry. So under the gear icon, under Canvas, click to edit the drawing guide. Still on Symmetry, but we are going to, under Options here, select Radial Symmetry. So we get kind of a sun starburst pattern. Then go ahead and click Done. Let's switch back to our black color and our monoline brush. Under the calligraphy tab, still at 20%. Okay, so right kind of here where we can see like almost the full pie slice, I'll start there. So I'm going to draw 3 in each section. So I'm going to start kind of right next to this horizontal line, draw a line out at a slight angle, hold it down until it turns perfectly straight, and then we want to extend it a good ways, but not all the way to the edge. Still a good ways so that we can make a slightly longer one in the middle of our pie piece. So, but a good angle here so that they're not like, it shouldn't be like horizontal, it should be slightly angled, like so. Go right next to that one, kind of in the middle of our pie piece, starting at the same point, but we'll make it longer this time. Again, slightly different angle, so we should just be kind of cutting our pie piece right in half. Then again, start at the same point and make another shorter one, another good angle. If you ever need to, you can click this edit line button at the top and kind of adjust it so I'll bring the bottom closer together so we make kind of like a circle there in the center. So that looks great. And for our animation, we're going to leave this layer filled in completely. For our drawing, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to erase some parts of it, but I don't want our animation to have chunks missing. But for our picture, it's going to look great to have some chunks missing from it around the dragon. So what we're going to do is, if you're going to make the animation great, go ahead and follow me here. If you're just doing the drawing, you can just click on this layer on the layer menu and turn off Drawing Assist. But for the animation, we're going to make a duplicate of this like starburst layer. So slide to left and hit duplicate. Uncheck the bottom one, so that's our whole one that we will use in the animation. This one on top that's still on, click on it and turn off Drawing Assist so that we can erase chunks out of this one for our picture's purpose. So grab our eraser tool on the monoline brush. My size is set to 20. And we're just going to erase little chunks where our dragon overlaps. So like I just kind of want to cut out chunks here. So like on the right and left side of his like head here, I'm just cutting out these chunks. This one here, mine's like almost overlapping, but not quite. So I'll probably leave that. But if yours is overlapping here, like erase a chunk there as well. Do the same thing on the other side. So we just want gaps between our lines and our dragon. So like same thing down here. I'll make a little gap there on both sides. Just trying to make some like smooth kind of cuts. Okay, same thing here. I'll kind of cut here. I'll cut around his talon. Same thing on this side. So I'm kind of cutting the direction of whatever is overlapping with it. like so, and we'll just keep on doing that. Okay, so there's quite a few here that are like not affected, so that's good. Then we'll just kind of move on to the tail area here. Again, yours might look a little different than mine, so just kind of cut out what you need to for yours. But otherwise, I just think that just looks better than the other one to have the chunks cut out of it, so it kind of like pops a little bit better. Okay, once that's all set, now we can just add our stars. So this part's really easy. We'll just go to our layer menu. Let's add a new layer. Same black color. Let's grab our star brush that you should have downloaded. Okay, and we'll just make a couple different sized stars. So let's start with maybe 70%. Let's see how that looks. It's a good big star. I like that. So we'll do 70% for our first ones. So it is like angle sensitive. So if your canvas is tilted, the star will also tilt. So just make sure you're straight up and down so we can get some just straight up and down stars. So I'll make just a few big ones in some like open spaces like so, just a few. So literally 3. Then I'll drop my size a good ways to maybe like 40%. And we'll do some smaller ones. So these can kind of fill in some other spaces. Just kind of trying to make a few good ones all the way around so there's no real empty spots, but we don't want to go overboard, don't want it to get too crazy, but we just want a good few of them around like so. So once you have a good amount of stars that you like, whether it's a lot or a little, that completes our drawing today. So I hope you had fun. I hope that you maybe learned some new things. I hope that you like the way that yours turned out. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more tutorials from me in the future. I would love to see your drawing when it's done, so go ahead and post it on Instagram and tag me so that I can check it out. And while you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so you can see what I'm working on next. And then if you are sticking around for the animation, that will be in the next video. So in the beginning of that video, I'll go over how to export our layers from this. So no need to do anything else right now, but just check that out when it's available. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.